Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to come to Potsdam for the meeting because have a parallel meeting right now in Brussels where I am. Um, I will report quickly about the status of the essential geodetic variables definition and specifically about the white paper, which already has been mentioned by Detlef in the introduction. So I also welcome Detlef and Laura as my co-authors. So nice that you are in Potsdam, and we will meet later in Munich again. So I will start a little bit with very generic things, but I will go through very quickly because this is already well known and nothing new. So we already discussed several times that we need to define essential variables in order to promote geodesy in general and the products which are delivered by geodetic services and others. And therefore, we need really to address that. And are a few bullets which just summarize these items again, which I will not go through in detail. In any case, I just want to mention that the presentation is very similar to that one which was shown in Thessaloniki recently, last month at the GGHS. So don't wonder if you don't see many updates, but it's not so far long ago. So we are trying to do something similar what the Global Climate Observing System and the Global Ocean Observing System is doing, but now under the umbrella of GGOS, as also Detlef introduced in the beginning. And we regard it as really important that we have a set of real important, let's say, we call it essential variables, which can be used by a wider community of earth sciences, but also operational services, applications, whatever. Here is a short summary about what has happened, let's say, in the last years. Actually, a lot of work has been done towards the 2019 IUGG, where this EGV discussion was, I would say, had a larger room in the IGG conference where we discussed a lot about these things. Then we had the well-known interrupt till 2022. But it was resumed the work, and I would say the last IUGG in Berlin in 2023 was again initialization of in, continuing the definition and the work to be done, and we decided at some point to prepare some so-called white paper where we write down what is our idea, how we want to define these essential variables. This is currently under revision, if you want, and Detlef already has shown also in the beginning a little bit about what is the status and what are the next steps. So one important item is how we want to name that. Actually, our initial proposal for naming that the variables was essential geodetic Earth observation variables. The reason behind that was that we are a little bit afraid that if you just call it geodetic variables, the community, Earth science community, not always knows what is behind this. What is it? So if you compare it to climate variables or ocean variables, is a geodetic variable, is it the same? This is an important question which we have to address. I fully understand that quite a number of people have worries about doing it like this, and therefore we try to find a compromise. And for the time being, right now, we added a subtitle, Contributions of Geodesy to Earth Observation. I don't know if this is the final solution, the best solution, but at least it links the ideas a little bit, which are provided also by reviewers and by ourselves. But if you have a good idea, you're always welcome to approach us and make a proposal. So Geodesy, I think, has the right to define these variables because geodesy is observing the Earth as a whole, and that makes is a bit the difference to maybe other products or services who are concentrating on the ocean, or climate is also the whole Earth in some sense, but it's more atmosphere related. And there are also starting some other service or some other institutions who also want to define essential variables of different kind. So this is what we let's say, our background why we want to do that. And as I already said, we suffer in some sense also from visibility in the global society because geodesy is simply not a well-known discipline in this area. Simply, people don't know it. We realize that when we talk to students or new students that sometimes they even don't know what they study at the end. So we have to make clear variables definition in saying this is what we deliver and this is what you can do with these variables. And this is then also related to the products at the end. So this is the same chart as Detlef has shown. I will not go into details again here. Just what I would like to address is a little bit the point here, how to classify them. There are different ways to classify. This is how the climate and the ocean variables are classified. And then we discussed several ideas. We can following the GGOS product definition. For example, we classify it according to the geodetic fields. We can classify it as according to the Earth system components. At the very end, we were not happy with none of that, and we wanted to be closer to the climate variables, and therefore our proposal is we have similar as the climate, we have land, ocean, but then we have another one which is new, which is global, which we introduce for global products, global products which are contributing to some variables. Then the other thing is what is a criteria to become an essential variable. So the first three items are the same as given for the other essential variables, so I won't repeat them. But what we can do in addition is, or what we should define as a criteria in addition is to have to provide sustainable products with sustainable variables, so on a long-term basis, consistent products, as I just said, because that is, I think, one of the major advantages what we can do in geodesy, that we can provide consistent products which are based on the same processing standards, let's say. And that is one thing which I think is not realized completely in the other essential variables. So then we define different levels of variables, which is following mostly the definitions which are usually given in the satellite business. When you talk about Earth observation data, you start with level 0 with the raw data basically, and then you go up to level 2, which is the product which is defined from one source, and level 3 is then a product which is defined by combining different parameters, let's say, or observations. So currently we only focus on level 2, level 3. So, but I don't want to say that we totally exclude level 1 products or maybe even level 0. But at this point, we are not yet considering this because we want first to set up the general frame before we go into more details. Now let's go, as I said, into more details. So these are the 18 geodetic variables which we currently have proposed. Most of them are in level 3, the real high level variables, which is 12, and 6 of them in level 2, which is a little bit lower level. As you can identify in the lower part of the table, you see level 2 variables, the upper part are the level 3. Then we had said the different domains, we have it separated in that way. And then we added additional subdomains, which is also following a little bit the strategy of the climate variables, where we say, is it a geometrical variable? Is it a physical variable? Is it maybe a mix of both or both contributing? And I marked it here in the table by the colors code. So yellow means more physical linked, green geometrical shape of the Earth, and blue is something both are addressed. Maybe sometimes you disagree with one of these definitions, but at the broader sense, I would say this fits quite well. The only thing which we didn't know where to classify is the atmosphere, the neutral atmosphere and ionosphere from Michael Schmidt. So, Michael, sorry, I don't have any idea how to classify it at this point. So, so let's look a bit more in detail now on the products, because a variable is one thing, but you have to provide also real data and products to which are used in these variables, which are defining the variables in some sense, or providing information to the variables. And here we have now uh, all defined altogether 53 products, which is closely linked to the GGOS products, by the way. So it should be not a big difference to that, if I'm not wrong. 24 out of these products are linked to observations or models of the Earth's gravity field. 12 are related to primary gravity field observation models. So sorry, this is gravity field related here because this was taken from the gravity conference and therefore I made it for this. But you see also many of the others are then from the geometric branch, let's say. So these are all the products. We have invented some acronyms, but the meaning I think is clear. And what is now important is that we define these variables in a more detailed way, and we have created these tables which are following also the strategy of the climate variables. Detlef has also shown one. I will not go into details here, it just should give you an idea. These are level 3 variables, so global reference frames. You see all these reference frames which are under definition by Geodesy. For example, on the right-hand side, you see the global gravity field with all derived quantities. Then I have here another one about sea level, which could be also this is the physical part because we refer it to the geoid. But there's another one, is sea surface, which is then referring to the geometry. Don't show it here, or glaciers. So just to give you an idea about how this looks like. It's not yet fully completed, this table, so we have also here EGV Steward, which is following also the climate variables definition. This is someone or institution who takes care about this variable. We didn't define it yet. So then going into details, what is more important is now how are these variables linked to the products or vice versa. This is now a bit complicated table. It's only an extract of a big table, which you see later. And what I have now here is these variables, which I have just shown before, and I have the related products included here. So on each column is one of these essential variables, so 18. And in each line is a geodetic product, but these are not the 53. I only selected those who are relevant for these variables. So in order to keep the table a bit smaller. So what you see now is the link in case here for the global reference frames for two products which are related to gravity field. So as I said, I excluded all the others for the reason because I prepared it for the gravity conference. But what is important is that we tried to define the primary link, so the primary geodetic product, which is directly providing information to the variable, which is clear. This is the gravity reference frame, the height reference frame, for example, is contributing to the global reference frame, is directly linked. But there are also products which provide important information to a variable or which is maybe somehow linked, not so important, but at least linked to that. And this is given by these color codes. You can agree or disagree, and you can say we missed something or they forgot something, which could be true. But the idea is that we show in detail how these variables are linked to the geodetic products and which product is contributing to which variable, which is also to the benefit to those who are preparing these products. And I have now a few more of this type for all these 4 categories or for these 4 essential variables. You see it here. For example, the global Earth gravity field variable is linked to many other products here in this case, yeah, for which are defined by which are part of these global gravity field models. So you see a lot of things. The more color you have in the column or in a row, the more products are contributing to a variable, which is also an important message, I would say, for us, for Geodesy, but also to those who are using these variables and products. So this is sea level, looking a bit less crowded in this case for some reason, and the glaciers, which is just one line here at the bottom. So this is what we did, and we did it for the whole set of products and essential variables, and then we get a table like that, which is nice to watch, I would say, difficult to read. But it's also not intended that you read it in detail in this at this point, but that you get an impression how closely linked are different products with different variables and which product is contributing to which variable. For example, there's one important one, which is the terrestrial reference frame in the bottom here, where you see my mouse, I guess. You see it's contributing to all essential variables. And that is indicating how important a product is in that case. And this, I think, is giving a good overview about these things. So, what is now missing still is that we did not yet define requirements for our essential variables, which is foreseen to be a part of the white paper. But what we want to have first is a consolidated view of all key players, let's say, organizations in geodesy, that they agree with the approach we are currently doing. Therefore, we are doing these reviews of the document. Once we have a positive or an agreeable, let's say, version of the strategy itself, we will continue defining these requirements. But first, we need a real consensus on that. So that brings me also already to the summary and conclusions. So what I really want to foster again is the naming convention. We propose for the time being that we keep somewhere this Earth observation in the at least in the subtitle in order to give also visibility of what we are providing to the non-geodetic community, because that if we just keep the name geodetic variables, we really might lose many groups who are not aware about what we are doing. Currently, we have 18 EGVs, which is a good number, but not excluded to increase. So it's not that we limit it to that. Currently, we do level 3, level 2, as I said. We have a huge number of geodetic products identified, which are contributing to this. We have prepared this nice table, which is linking the products and the variables. And finally, this is the summary of the more detailed outlook by Detlef, where he already had a bit more detailed points how we want to proceed. So as he said, we want to get now feedback from the GGOS governing board. Then we want to get feedback from the IAG governing boards, and then we will try to prepare a revised version, hopefully not too far away from what we have right now. And that would be the starting point for defining requirements and to have ready the white paper maybe by the end of next year, as Detlef also pointed out. So thanks for listening. I hope you could get an impression about what we have in mind for these EGVs. And you also, I hope also that you support our initiative in some way, and feel free to give us comments even by email whenever you think that something could be improved. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Thomas, for presenting the concept of the white paper on essential geodetic variables. So are there questions to Thomas? Zuer, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Detlef. And many thanks to Thomas. I like your presentation, and it is well prepared, but I have doubt about the content. I hope I will receive the white paper so that I can read more deeply and see what the proposal is effectively. So
Sure.
you are saying that you have a set of 18 essential geodetic variables, but you are talking also about 53 geodetic products.
Yeah.
So do you have a slide where the 18 essential geodetic variables are?
Yeah, in principle, it's the header first line of this table.
Oh, okay. So well, essentially, I mean, the target of defining essential geodetic variable is to mimic what we are doing in climate and oceanography, etc.
Yeah.
And one of the target is to make sure that the public will be sensitive to these variables, because a change in that variable will have consequences on our planet.
Yeah.
So I doubt that the global reference frame will be understandable by the general public, simply because, as you mentioned, and as we all know, that geodesy is not well known by the general public.
Yeah.
So I am afraid that some variable that you are defining as essential geodetic variable not well understood by the general public, which is the target of defining variable.
Yeah, but I have a counter question. Do you understand all essential climate variables?
I went at that website. I see that these variables, most of them are dictated by measurement, like the pressure, like the temperature, salinity. These things are easy to understand by the general public. Maybe not all the 50 or such.
Yeah, that's the point. I guess they also have some variables which are difficult for us to understand.
Mhm.
And I would not say that we should limit ourselves in some way that we don't define a essential variable which maybe is a bit more geodetic than others. And even if it's only for us. So if someone from hydrology doesn't care about the global reference frame, whatever kind of reference frame, fine for us. It makes no difference for us. But for geodesy, it is a difference. So they should know it. So I don't see a big problem if not all variables are understood by everybody. But what we should have, you are right, we should have at least a significant number of variables which are understandable by more or less all earth science communities. And I think that we have included here.
Okay, I will not ask more questions. So please, I will be happy to read the white paper.
Definitely, you will get it.
Okay, thank you.
So I also have a comment on this. So I really understand your point, but I'm also very much in favor of having the global reference frames defined as an essential geodetic variable. It's a key geodetic product which is needed, which is a fundament for Earth system research. And I also would like to mention the Global Geodetic Center of Excellence also promoting the geodetic reference frame. And I think in collaboration with the GGCE, we should be in a good position to make the reference frame more visible to the community. And so I think this is an argument to keep it there.
For the interest of time, I will not communicate more on that.
Yeah, I know that.
I will read that.
No, yeah,
I will
please.
read the paper.
Okay, are there other questions or comments? Yes, Roland?
I just would like to support what you just said. I think the strategy is really a very smart mixture of geodesy branding for products where we have more or less a monopoly situation like the reference frames, but also the overlaps to the other social and climate variables. Because if we just reduce to sea level, then there is, of course, the question why we come 10 years later than climate and ocean. But in this way, we demonstrate that geodesy contributes to sea level, but we have in parallel also various geodesy-specific variables which we believe are on the same level important for society. And I think, therefore, this approach is a very smart one.